Good day, everyone. I am Mika Gahelomo from BSED English. My assigned topic is Post-Modern Philosophies. Objectives. In this lesson, you will be able to introduce to the basic ideas about postmodernism, name some goals and beliefs of postmodernist philosophers, and differentiate postmodernism from modernism. So first, what is postmodern philosophy? It is a philosophical movement that arose in the second half of the 20th century as a critical response to assumptions allegedly present in modernist philosophical ideas regarding culture, identity, history, or language that were developed during the 18th century Enlightenment. So the postmodern philosophy questions the importance of power relationships, personalization, and discourse in the construction of truth and worldviews. So most of the philosophers during the postmodern deny that an objective really exists and also appear to deny that there are objective moral values. So postmodernism is an anti-realism. So next we have some general characteristics of postmodernism. Postmodern philosophy is characterized by broad skepticism or relativism and a general suspicion of reason. It also broadly asserts that Western intellectual and cultural norms and values are a product of, or in some sense influenced by, the ideology of dominant or elite groups and at least indirectly serve their interest. So next we have Jean-François Lyotard. Jean-François Lyotard defined philosophical postmodernism in his book The Postmodern Condition as simplifying to the extreme. I define postmodern as incredulity towards meta-narratives. So the Postmodern Condition is a 1979 book by Jean-François Lyotard in which he analyzes the notion of knowledge in postmodern society as the end of grand narrative or meta-narratives, which he considers a quintessential feature of modernity. So what he means by meta-narrative is something like a unified, complete, universal, and epistemically certain story about everything that is. So the postmodernist philosophers in general argue that truth is always contingent on historical and social context rather than being absolute and universal, and that truth is always partial and at issue rather than being complete and certain. So, as I was saying, the postmodernists didn't believe in grand narrative or meta-narratives because they reject the conceptualization of the truth which meta-narratives presuppose. What do postmodernists believe? So, there are 8 of their beliefs. So, number 1, there is no objective reality. Number 2, there is no scientific or historical truth or objective truth. Number 3, science and technology and even reason and logic are not vehicles of human progress but suspect instruments of established power. Number 4, reason and logic are not universally valid. Number 5, there is no such thing as human nature, or human behavior and psychology are socially determined or constructed. Number 6, language does not refer reality outside itself. Number 7, there is no certain knowledge. And lastly, number 8, no general theory of natural or social world can be valid or true. All are illegitimate or meta-narrative. So as I was saying, the postmodernist philosopher strongly believe that that there is no objective truth, and they reject the conceptualization of the truth which meta narratives presuppose. So that's why they are also there are also they also reject the meta narratives or grand narratives. Education in postmodernism. The most important point in modernism educational opinion is rationality. In modern education, teachers try to educate a logical person who can live in rational society. In this situation, teachers dominant and control students. Also, teachers know everything and determine students' positions and futures. But modernism, which tries to solve modernism's problem, has different ideas. Postmodern philosophers reject objectivity, absolute fact, traditional epistemology, metaphysics, and universal moral values. In contrast, they emphasize on subjectivity, local fact, interdisciplinary methods, individual and cultural differences, and creativity. A curriculum should include important values to teach, which are as follows. Number 1. Striving for diversity. It does not mean that students shall be accepting cultural practices and beliefs without question. So for example, in striving for diversity, have you noticed, first day of our school, our teacher asked us to introduce ourselves. Why does they want to know their students? It is because they want to know our ethnicity, gender, age, physical abilities, political beliefs, religious beliefs, and our personality, in order for them to understand and recognize our background and differences. So next, number 2 is tolerance. The acceptance of the differing views of other people and the fairness towards the people who holds these different views. So bringing different ideas and perspectives leads to better problem solving. So our different views should be accepted by the teachers and be fair to each of individuals, because we have different views in life, and that makes us and unique. Number 3, freedom. Considerable autonomy is given to both teachers or localizing activities in the classroom and students in terms of their decision making. So it helps students learn from their mistakes and allows them to show growth, maturity, and responsibility. So with the balance of freedom and responsibility, you will be able to have a good flow of discussion. Like for example, when teachers give activities, the students have the rights or have freedom or free will to answer the activities. But they will suffer, or they will face the consequences of their actions. So when the teachers give the students activities, the students have rights or they have freedom to answer or not to answer the activities. But with that, they will face the consequence of their actions depending on the decisions they make. So they have freedom. And number 4, creativity. The ability to use the imagination to help new and original to develop new and original ideas or things. So creativity opens them in a world of communication. So you need to be more creative, develop your own ideas. It is where you made use of your wide imagination and be innovative. So number 5, we have emotions. Expressing a strong feeling directly towards a specific object, which is accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. So it has a substantial influence on the cognitive processes in humans. You can use your emotions to create a better ideas. You always just remember, you must have a proper control of your emotions because it will lead to a disaster. So the last is intuitions. Immediate cognition or a feeling that guides a person to act certain way without fully understanding Why? So you have the ability to read a situation, or you have an immediate understanding without reasoning. So it is an ability to handle complex classroom situations that require immediate action. So as a teacher, you must have the intuition. You must have this ability. And that's all for my report, and thank you.